To turn any traveling cable into a super cable, we'll use ghost stitches. These are regular purls that we'll add at each side of the traveling part of the cable that is made of knit stitches. First thing we need to do is to add those ghost stitches to the work. And for that, we work to the knit part of the cable. So even though my cable over here is made of 4 stitches, 2 of them are purls, I'm gonna purl through these 2 stitches as usual and stop only when I get to the knit part of the cable, the traveling part, the one that's gonna be slanting. And then I make a reverse yarn over. If you prefer to hold yarn in your right hand, then you will bring the yarn to the back of the work, over the needle and to the front of the work, like that. If you prefer to hold yarn in your left hand, then you do the same thing but with the yarn in your left hand. So you bring the yarn from the back of the right needle, over the needle and to the front. That's reverse yarn over. Then we knit the stitches of the traveling part of the cable and make another reverse yarn over the same way, back of the needle, over the needle and to the front, and then we work to the end of the row. In my case it's going to be just 1 purl. Make sure you don't lose the reverse yarn over as you purl the next stitch. In a wrong side row we're gonna knit the reverse yarn overs as usual through the front loop, just like this. And because it is a reverse yarn over, as we knit it, we'll turn it into a twisted stitch that doesn't form any hole and doesn't add any looseness to the cable. And then we purl the stitches of the traveling part of the cable, get to the next reverse yarn over and knit it again, and then work to the end of the row. If you work in the round, purl those reverse yarn overs in the next round to turn them into twisted stitches. To make a right slanting traveling cable, we work to the stitches of the cable, but now there are more stitches because we added the reverse yarn overs, the ghost stitches. They're right over here, hugging the knit stitches of the traveling part of the cable. But we stop when we get to all stitches of the cable. So the ghost stitches will be part of this traveling part of the cable. And then we also have 2 purls that are gonna make the background for that traveling part of the cable. So we stop when we get to all of these stitches. So 2 purls in my case, and then the group of stitches that is gonna be traveling. Then we take a cable needle and slip the purl stitches to the cable needle and keep those stitches at the back of the work, the very back. See, I bring the yarn over the stitches. That's very important. And then we work the stitches of the traveling part of the cable as we see them. So we're gonna purl the ghost stitches and knit the stitches that are going to be forming this beautiful visual element on our project. So I'm going to purl the ghost stitch, knit the stitches of the traveling part of the cable and purl the last ghost stitch. Then we go back to the stitches that are sitting on the cable needle. So I'm going to find them over here, and you can purl them directly from the cable needle, but I prefer to slip them to the left needle, just like this, and then purl those stitches. And then finish the row all round. We've just crossed this traveling cable to the right. In the wrong side row, we're gonna work the stitches as we see them. So we're gonna knit the knits and purl the purls. And that means that the ghost stitches are gonna be knitted. See, this is the ghost stitch, so I'm gonna knit it. If you're not sure, look at the right side of the work and it will be easier to understand where the ghost stitches are. So knit those ghost stitches or purl them if you're working in the round, and then purl the stitches that form a lovely visual element on the right side of the cable. To make a left slanting traveling cable, we're gonna work to the traveling part of the cable. And again, because we have ghost stitches, that part is gonna be the knit stitches and the ghost stitches at each side of those knit stitches. So I'm gonna stop over here, take my cable needle and slip this part of the cable, the ghost stitch, then the knit stitches, and the last ghost stitch. I'm gonna slip them to the cable needle and keep them at the front of the work. And then I will purl the other part of the cable that is made of 2 purl stitches in my cable pattern. Once I do that, I return the stitches from the cable needle to the left needle, or you can work them directly from the cable needle, it's up to you. And then I work them as I see them. So if it's a purl, the ghost stitches are purls. So I'm gonna purl that stitch, and then I'm gonna knit the knits, purl the last ghost stitch, and purl the last stitch of the row, or work to the end of the row if your row is longer than mine. In the wrong side row, again, we knit the ghost stitches. That is gonna be right over here. And then we purl the stitches of the traveling part, the beautiful part, and knit the ghost stitches again. When the cable is finished, it is time to get rid of the ghost stitches. We don't need them anymore, right? So we get rid of them in a very easy manner. We simply work each stitch with the knit stitch that is the closest to that stitch. So we start when we get to the ghost stitch that is at the right side of the traveling part of the cable, at the right side of those knit stitches. And then we simply knit 2 stitches together. That's going to be the stitch of the cable and the ghost stitch. We knit them together as usual through the front loop, like this. And then if your traveling part of your cable is wider than 2 stitches, then work until you get to the last knit stitch of that part. And once you get there, simply work these 2 stitches together by making a slip slip knit decrease. You can use the classic slip slip knit, but I like the simplified version where you slip just 1 stitch knitwise, twisting it, then bring it back to the left needle, and as you do that, you push the right needle a bit further, going into the next stitch, and then knit these 2 stitches together through the back loop. And then finish the row all around. As you see, the number of stitches now is back to the number of stitches we started with before we added the ghost stitches to the work. As you keep doing that, you will see that the cables that you make, those traveling lovely cables, they look absolutely stunning. They have this beautiful 3D effect. They're kind of embossed on the background made of reverse stockinette stitch, which is a great improvement compared to the regular traveling cables. See, these are much flatter and much less gorgeous. To get the full tutorial about this method, go to tenroseday.com/traveling-super-cables. Happy knitting, my friend. I'll talk to you in the next tutorial.